सुरू करायची वेळ झाली आता.
हो हो आता एक 2 मिनिटं.
देसाईंचा चेहरा दिसला मला मागाशी साईडनी.
मला नाही दिसला अजून.
दाखवतो चेहरा दाखवतो सर. दिसतोय?
हा आता आले मला वाटतं.
हा देसाई सर दिसल्यावर का आता.
हा
हो हो
आणि तुम्ही म्हणाल तसं ते टाय वगैरे
चालू करा सर. चालू करा सर.
त्याला वेळ लागला.
चालू करा सर.
हा देसाई
सर सर चालू करा. सर चालू करा.
बरोबर. Welcome to everyone, especially those who are from overseas. This is the 52nd lecture of the series Vijnana Ganga, started by Y.B. Chauhan Pratishthan Mumbai and Marathi Vijnan Parishad since 2016. Many eminent scientists and technologists have delivered their speeches in this particular series. Until March 2016, all these lectures were arranged at Y.B. Chauhan Pratishthan's auditorium near Mantralaya, Mumbai. However, due to lockdown situation of coronavirus, we have started this particular series since May 2020 on Zoom app. So today's speaker is Professor Satish Desai. Let me introduce him briefly. Professor Satish Desai is BE Civil Engineering and PhD in Structural Engineering. He completed his BE from Gujarat University, India, and PhD from City University, London in 1996. He served in Gammon, India, Mumbai between 1960 to 67, and he handled water towers, chimneys, bridges, and harbor development projects during those 7 years. Then for a brief period of 1 year, he was busy in construction activity at Bombay Docks. Then during 1968 to 2012, he worked as structural design work with consultants, management of defense work projects in government departments, and research and management of research projects again in government departments. He worked as honorary visiting professor in University of Surrey, UK from 2001 to 2007, and at Kingston University, UK from 2007 to 12, and at Osmania University, Hyderabad as well. He is a fellow of Institute of Structural Engineers. He is officer of the Order of British Empire, OBE, for service to Department of Environment, Transport and the regions. He has published 51 research papers. He has written novels in Marathi and English, a book on character sketches, and a book on Hinduism and scriptures. Professor Desai is often visiting India. I think during past 6 months due to coronavirus, he could not make his scheduled visit. However, whenever he comes to Mumbai, he makes a point to visit Marathi Vijnan Parishad. As well, he is advisor to one Mr. Raikar, who has got a very big agricultural land near Talegaon, Pune, and he solves his many problems in the field of agriculture. One will wonder that a structural engineer, what he has to do in agriculture. But when I discuss this point with Professor Desai, he says for an engineer, nothing is difficult. He has to study the problem and then he can solve it. I remember once Dr. Mashelkar having said about Professor Joshi, J.B. Joshi, that he is not a chemical engineer alone, but he is a solution engineer. That means whichever problem you take to him, he solves it. And so it is equally true for Professor Desai as well. Now today, the subject he has chosen for his speech is a review of research in concrete construction. Professor Desai has worked on concrete structures throughout his life, its design, its projects, and after effects of it. So he appears to be an authority to speak on this subject, although subject is little difficult, and then the audience is little less as compared to usual lectures, but this is a classified subject, and I welcome Professor Desai to start his speech. Mr. Desai, please. इथं स्क्रीन येईल आणि फोटो आता इकडे गेले.
काय झालं?
खाणारे अरेंजमेंट करतायत अजून. Audience is requested to wait for a minute or two. खाणारे हा.
नसेल जमत तर लाईव्ह करूया काय?
नो देसाई साहेब 1-2 मिनिटं थांबा, बघूया तो काय म्हणतो तो.
मला सांगा, लाईव्ह करूया नाही.
होय होय होय.
Hello, a review of research in concrete construction. First, I would like to thank the organizers, Marathi Vignan Parishad and Yashwantrao Savan Pratishthan.
खंदारे, माझा व्हिडिओ आणि स्पीकर दोन्ही थांबले.
व्हिडिओ मिळत नाहीये. माझ्याकडे स्पीकर चालू आहे पण व्हिडिओ नाहीये. खंदारे, आपण त्यांना बोलायला सांगूया का?
हा, त्यांना म्हणा तुम्ही डिलिव्हर करा लेक्चर.
ते म्हणाले ते आता की मी सुरू करू का?
Manager of research project.
Let him start.
Supervisor of postgraduate students. The presentation is planned as first research leading to the development in engineering, history of concrete construction, sustainable concrete construction, good engineering practice, and then I'll end with some concluding remarks. Research means to go about seeking knowledge. The rishis used to do it, often sitting under trees, tree being a symbol of intellect.
काही दिसत नाही साहेब.
Ancient
चालू आहे,
practice
sir.
of sitting under a tree
पण हे बघा काहीच वाचता येत नाही.
seems to have been followed by Sir Isaac Newton, a gifted mathematician who lived from 1642 to 1727. He came up with a theory of gravity when an apple fell from the tree. This led to the laws of motion, which have formed the basis of engineering.
साहेब लाईव्हच करूया का हे काय?
हॅलो.
First law implies that a force can change the state of body at rest or a body in uniform motion, and the second law
मी
defines
थांबवतो
the
मी
force
थांबवतो.
as mass times.
हॅलो.
हाँ बोला.
एक मिनिट.
लाईव्ह करूया लाईव्ह.
सर तुम्ही बोलताय का?
हा बोलतो आता काय.
हाँ देसाई साहेब लाईव्ह करा. हाँ
कारण ते ह्याचा कमी पडतोय, त्याचा व्हिडिओ आहे ना तो स्ट्रॉंग होत नाहीये, तिथे खूप स्लो जातोय.
बर.
बँडविड्थचा इश्यू येतोय सर.
हा ठीक आहे.
मी तुम्हाला शेअरचा ऑप्शन देऊ का?
हा द्या. नाही मी माझ्याकडे आहे फाईल आहे. तुम्ही माझ्याकडे कंट्रोल द्या मी करतो.
हा देतो तुम्हाला कंट्रोल. तुमच्याकडे कंट्रोल दिलाय सर. स्क्रीन सुरू झाली.
हे आलं ना.
हो आलं सर.
हा नमस्कार मंडळी.
हाँ
First, I'd like to thank the organizers, Marathi Vignan Parishad, Mumbai, India, Yashwantrao Savan Pratishthan, Mumbai, India. I planned the presentation like this. First, I'll talk about research leading to development in engineering, history of concrete construction, sustainable concrete construction, good engineering practice, and then I end with some concluding remarks. This is based on my experience until 2012, researcher, manager of research projects, and supervisor of postgraduate students. There may not be anything new for some people, but they'll have their patience and listen to me. Research means to go about seeking. Rishis used to go about seeking knowledge, often sitting under trees, a tree being a symbol of intellect. This practice of sitting under a tree to seek knowledge seems to have been followed by Sir Isaac Newton, a gifted mathematician who lived from 1642 to 1727. He came up with a theory of gravity instantly when an apple fell from the tree. This led to the laws of motion, which have formed the basis of engineering. Research leading to development of engineering, the first law implies that a force can change the state of body at rest or a body in uniform motion, and the second law defines the force as mass times acceleration. But a third law is important for us. It suggests that the structure can be stable if the internal reactions are in equilibrium with the external forces or actions, as they call it, dead load, weight of the structure, imposed load, people, furniture, machinery, wind, snow, etc. In structural design, safety factors are applied to the estimated actions and to the strength of materials, providing the internal reaction or response of the structure. These factors are based on statistical data to cater for probable inaccuracy in estimating actions or estimating strength of material, etc. Scientific revolution in the 17th century resulted in expansion in areas of mathematics, that is algebra, geometry, and calculus, and the laws of physics were formulated as a result of the work done by Sir Isaac Newton and other scientists during that time. Engineering evolved as applied physics during the 18th century with development of engineering principles and processes with the help of scientific concepts, physics mainly, and experimental techniques. It follows therefore that engineers can have a better grasp of engineering principle, if they have a good understanding of mathematics and physics. We find in some universities the students come out of schools, don't have enough mathematics, physics under their belt. So universities are often to have sort of induction courses. During the 19th and 20th century, design methods and construction techniques advanced, especially in the field of reinforced concrete construction. The start was the invention of Portland cement in 1824 UK. Advanced concrete construction, reinforced and pre-stressed concrete has made it possible to have imaginative structural forms in buildings and bridges. Many architects have used concrete in their structures, notably Santiago Calatrava of Spain. His structures almost seem imaginary. This looks like a spaceship, but it is the Innovation, Science and Technology Building, Florida Polytechnic, Florida, USA. This is a twisting torso, a twisting building, residential skyscraper, Malmö, Sweden. It has become an iconic building in the city center. Many people come to look at it. And a lovely bridge, Lusitania Bridge, Merida, Spain. Concrete is very old indeed. First discovered in 1985, a floor in Israel, Yifta El in southern Galilee. 9,000 years old. It was made as a conglomerate like concrete using lime as the binder. Over the centuries, developments in structural design and concrete technology have resulted in concrete becoming a popular construction material. Why so? Concrete construction is robust and so durable that a common structure can have a service life of 50 years or more. Prestigious structures can last for 100 years or more. Concrete floors and cladding elements have good insulating properties, that is energy conservation, and they have good fire resistance, which means that you don't need separate fire insulation. Separate fire insulation means extra cost, extra time on site that is saved. In the UK, brickwork and timber have been exclusively used in low-rise traditional buildings. The British call everyone else as non-traditional. However, steel and concrete have to be used in construction of high-rise buildings, both residential and commercial. Sustainable concrete construction. It means that we are required to use the natural resources in a prudent manner. A lot of thinking behind it so that we meet the needs of the current generation, that is us, without jeopardizing the needs of the future generations. That's our children, grandchildren, great-grandchildren. Concrete is used worldwide in a very large sort of way. Construction of dams, buildings, bridges, pavements, etc. On the last count, I heard some 2 tons of concrete were used per person per year. It follows, therefore, that production of such largely used material should be made sustainable, using such measures as reducing emission of carbon dioxide, reducing energy consumption, and avoiding rapid depletion of natural resources. What is it? Portland PC is a vital constituent of concrete. People say, compare it with very highly trained soldiers. They should be used for wars, defense of country, and not as traffic wardens, some people say. So, it is energy demanding. Its production includes quarrying limestone, crushing its stages to get clinkers, burning the clinkers at high temperature, 1500 degrees centigrade, and grinding them down after cooling to obtain a fine powder that is PC. The ECO2 level of PC is quoted as approximately 1. That is 1 ton of carbon dioxide is produced or embodied in production of 1 ton of PC. In ECO2, E means embodiment of carbon dioxide, that is ECO2. 1 cubic meter, that is 2.4 tons of concrete, can contain 700 kilogram of fine aggregate, that is 0.5 to 5 millimeter, 1250 kilogram of coarse aggregate, 20 millimeter or larger, and 300 kilogram of PC. That means contribution of PC to ECO2 level of concrete is 0.125. This level can be further reduced when part of the PC is replaced by industrial byproducts. We'll see that in a few minutes. Let us see what really ECO2 levels are. Take grade 40 concrete with 30 kilogram of steel reinforcement. That is 153 kilogram per ton of concrete. Sawn softwood, 440 kilograms per ton of softwood. Structural steel, 1.93 tons per ton of steel. But remember that recycling steel is advantageous because the recycled material has nearly the same properties as the parent material. Very good indeed. Let us see some ECO2 levels of commonly known materials. Wholemeal bread, 1.3 kilogram CO2, 800 gram of loaf. You are lucky you have puri, chapatis and parathas. I don't know what carbon dioxide they take, but we eat bread. Orange juice, we all drink it. 1.1 kilogram of carbon dioxide is required for 1 liter. That is nearly 1 kilogram. Bag of crisps, 80 grams of carbon dioxide for 35 grams of crisps. It works out like 1.63 for bread, 1.1 for orange juice, 2.29 for bag of crisps. Perhaps you will remember this when you go through your next bag of crisps or number of bags of crisps. Quite energy demanding, but this information is not mine, but it comes from the British newspaper, The Independent, 13th of October, 2010. Sustainability, there are measures that can be used on their own or in combination. First, you reduce the use of concrete itself by rigorous design. You could reduce cement sand binder using aggregate packing. Most important is to make concrete durable so that you don't have to demolish the building because they have some faults, which is a great waste of material. Lastly, use recycled concrete aggregate. My friends, all these solutions may concern costs and they require increased efforts and skills in mixed design. Structural design and the specification of materials have to be very careful. May I say, therefore, my friends, sustainability doesn't come very easy, nor does it come very cheap. Optimum sizes of concrete members must be used. Higher skills of design are required, computer-based software, frame analysis. The whole idea is not to use sleep-easy solutions, oversafe solutions, resulting in excessively large member sizes, thus causing wastage of concrete. I've known some people who will say, okay, let's put thicker beam, deeper slab, bung in more reinforcement just in case. But I don't think that is right. You must provide what is really required, having faith in your design skills. Do not over-provide. Aggregate packing, if you look on the left-hand side, this is what happens when you don't take any care. Large voids, therefore a lot of cement and binder. But on the right-hand side is the result of grading aggregate. Aggregate packing. See, the voids are reduced, so use less cement sand binder. But the advice is, or the word of caution is, do not overdo it. If you were to overdo it, there won't be enough scope for the cement sand slurry to bind the aggregate. The phrase that is used is, please, please do not choke the mix. Making concrete durable, durability of concrete. The first call is compact microstructure, which every concrete lover dreams have to have compact microstructure. So we have first port of call, water cement ratio. A cubic meter of normally used concrete could have water cement ratio of 0.5. That is 300 kilogram of cement and 150 kilogram of water. But only 23% of the water is used in chemical reaction with cement, and 15% is required to form a gel. This gel coats fine aggregate to form mortar that binds the coarse aggregate, and you get the hardened mass we call concrete. But the rest of the water serves only the function of making concrete flow around the reinforcement. That is, making concrete workable. But this excess water evaporates and escapes from the hardening concrete, and what you get is capillaries which allow ingress of external pollutants, carbon dioxide, chloride, sulfates, etc. Please note the spelling of sulfate here. That's how the concrete technology experts do it. In English, we spell it as SULPHATE. However, that's how things are. You can use a plasticizer, lubricant between the aggregate, so that concrete can flow without adding lots of water to it. But you must choose the type and dosage carefully so that it's compatible with the other ingredients of concrete. Research has progressed. Water cement ratio can be as less as 0.3, and you get compact microstructure, what we all dream for, lowers of concrete. Research has progressed. It can be even less, but there we are. Curing of concrete. Curing can prevent loss of water from hardening concrete, thus allowing continued hydration of cement. And it also mitigates thermal cracking resulting from heat of hydration of cement. What you get is improved microstructure of concrete. Please note that I use the phrase continued hydration of cement. What I mean is cement keeps hydrating after 7 days, even after 28 days, and the concrete is getting stronger. So there has to be some water left behind for this purpose. Curing is normally done by ponding on slabs and floors or spraying walls and columns with water. One can use a curing compound applied to slabs. No need for ponding, and it can prevent loss of water by evaporation. This curing compound or aluminum film destructs itself once its job is done. Defense against carbonation, ingress of carbon dioxide through the capillaries. This dissolves in the pore water in the cement paste and forms carbonic acid, and that is bad news. Alkalinity level in concrete around the reinforcement should be pH 13. so that the steel is protected. But carbonic acid brings it down to pH 9. What happens is steel gets corroded, its effectiveness is reduced, and effectiveness of the steel reduced means premature collapse of structural element. Sulfate attack, if concrete doesn't have compact microstructure, the sulfates in the surrounding water, moisture can enter through the capillaries. Sulfates are found in spray of seawater or often in the underground water. So tests have to be made to make sure, but if sulfate enters, it reacts with calcium hydroxide and calcium aluminum hydrate, which are produced during hydration of cement. What happens is massive formation of ettringite and gypsum. Excessive formation of ettringite causes expansion of internal volume 2.6 times, 3 times. Concrete cracks, the surface cracks, steel is exposed. What happens? Steel gets corroded and reduces, its effectiveness is reduced. Formation of gypsum can lead to softening the concrete and loss of its mass and strength, which can potentially weaken the structure. And in combination with reduction in effectiveness of steel, what else can happen but premature collapse? There are ways of making concrete even more compact. I'll use only 2 solutions. First is pulverized fuel ash. Pulverized coal is used as fuel in coal-fired power stations. Hot gases are produced. They carry fine particles of ash. These fine particles are collected, fine powder, PFA. Hot gases are carried away to the power station to produce power. PFA can replace PC either at the mixer, the way British used to like it, but it is also included in bagged cement. Chemicals in PFA undergo a reaction with hydration products of PC to form a cementitious binder that is better than that given by pure PC. The formulae become more complicated, so I won't show them, but the CHS, as we call it, calcium hydrate silicate, PFA concrete has more in it by the reaction with the products of hydration of PC. What happens? PFA concrete is more compact microstructure, therefore improved chloride resistance and enhanced durability. However, such two-step chemical reaction, first the reaction that hydration of cement and then the products react with PFA, so the cementitious binder forms a bit later, therefore delay in strength development is delayed. People say PFA concrete should be tested at 56 days, but still this delay doesn't go down well with the speedy contractors who want to have rapid use of formwork. Also, precursors don't like because they have to make maximum use of the formwork. So speed is not there, although there are good qualities of PFA concrete. At my time, there were lots of PFA, so coarse PFA was pushed. But coarse PFA, coarse particles, reaction is not readily there with hydration products of PC. Therefore, its use as replacement of cement is somewhat limited. This is how it happens. Coefficient of chloride diffusion on left hand y-axis. X-axis shows PFA replacement level. The red line is dropping up to a point, which means that concrete is getting more chloride resistant. Chloride resistance is improved up to a point. On right-hand axis is compressive strength of concrete in newtons per millimeter square, which drops a little, but a happy compromise is reached when PFA replacement level is 35%, good chloride resistance and reasonable compressive strength. Ground granulated blast furnace slag, quite a mouthful, so we just call it GGBS. It can be used either at the mixer, also the British like so, but more popular it is used as bagged cement product. There is my little furnace on right-hand side where controlled mixture of iron ore, coke and limestone are introduced and heated at temperature of 1500 degrees Celsius. Quite comparable to what was used to make cement. The iron ore becomes iron, settles down. High temperatures result in molten liquid or slag, rises at the top, which is tapped away in a very clever and very efficient way, special technique. This slag is rapidly quenched in large volumes of water. This optimizes the cementitious properties of GGBS and produces granules that are similar to coarse sand particles. This granulated slag is dried and ground to a fine powder that is called GGBS. Off-white in color and weighs 1200 kilogram per cubic meter. You can see why it is called ground granulated blast furnace slag, GGBS for us. Burning limestone and other ingredients gives inherent cementitious qualities to GGBS. We are making use of most of the energy that you would have used to make iron, but GGBS is the byproduct. In commonly used concrete 25 newtons per millimeter square, blended cement with 60% GGBS gives us reduction in energy consumption 43%, reduction in carbon dioxide emission about 50%. Good figures, I'll say, but the mixture of water and GGBS is harmful to the skin, so the operatives have to take care, use protective gloves, etc. GGBS concrete develops early strength, but in our country, the University of Sheffield has produced research which says minimum of 6 days of water curing is required for long-term strength development. Without any water curing, 91 days strength can be only 70% of expected strength. I tried to point out that while both PFA and GGBS are good, you must remember some drawbacks, some essential things. Extra time for PFA concrete and need for water curing in GGBS concrete. But curing is commonly done for bridge construction. Bridges in the cold countries like the UK require de-icing salt, very strong chemicals. So GGBS concrete can protect the bridge. But building contractors are not very keen. They say we are not paid for, so we won't do it. Recycled concrete aggregate, RCA, it has a twofold advantage. First, we don't need so many holes in the ground to get the natural aggregate. Secondly, less holes in the ground for disposal of products of demolition, less landfill sites. In UK and other countries, it happens that these holes are in places of natural beauty, so the environmental people don't like many holes. But systematic cleaning, screening, testing of RCA are required so that we get rid of the impurities such as gypsum, get rid of excessive proportion of dust, fine aggregate. But the cost of such operations have been considered too high in the UK. Maybe with increased tax on the products of demolition might improve the situation. But I know that my friends in Holland have showed me that their contractors have a very systematic, highly professional list of what to do. Break the concrete down, grade it, screen it, clean it, so they get better quality of RCA. People say they don't have many natural aggregate quarries, so they have to use it, but they are indeed doing great service to the environment. Howsoever good the cleaning may be, RCA will have some mortar attached to it, which is hygroscopic and absorbs excessive water, reduces the water that is required to make the concrete flow. We call RCA mixture as harsh mixture, very harsh. Problem to have the concrete flow around the reinforcement and grip it. Fine RCA is worse, less than 5 millimeter, will have too much attached mortar, not used in structural concrete, only used as backfill material. 30% of coarse RCA, about 20 millimeter, can be used in low performance applications, pavement, internal slabs, internal members. But RCA has to be chemically inert. The parent concrete may have such things as chlorides, sulfates, etc. We don't want to bring them in the RCA. People add extra water to make the concrete to flow. And then an extra cement to maintain water-cement ratio to get the desired strength. This, I think, jeopardizes the principles of sustainable construction. On one hand, you are using recycled product. On the other hand, you give it away by using energy demanding. Sorry? An interesting solution was proposed whilst I was working. A researcher thought that two products
Not
can be
able to hear anything.
Microphone lines are. Hello, can you hear me?
चालू आहे सर, चालू ठेवा.
An interesting solution was proposed by researchers to bring two products together so that they can benefit each other when they are combined. Beneficial combination of two materials, successful matchmaking. Someone like me of Indian origin, matchmaking is good. RCA on its own, not so happy. Post PFA, not happy either. But make RCA concrete with binder using coarse PFA. They say it flows better. Happy together. Good engineering practice. First is construction. You have to use cement or water cement ratio. Concrete has to have desired strength and compact microstructure. Compaction of concrete and avoiding segregation during placing of concrete. Segregation means separation of coarse aggregate. If the cement sand binder separates from the coarse aggregate, weak layers of concrete. Curing of concrete after placing it to avoid formation of capillaries because of evaporation of water and thermal cracking due to the heat of hydration. Then you should provide right cover to suit the condition of exposure of the structural member. Internal members, modest. External members, moderate. But there are severe conditions, salt water spray, fire exposure, etc. Guidance is available how strong the concrete should be, how big the member should be, thick, deep, how much cover should be provided for each severe condition. Structural design, specification of materials and work in construction site. This should be entrusted to trained and experienced personnel with good judgment developed as a result of education, training, and sound experience gained under the right supervision. For example, detailing should ensure that reinforcement is not so congested that it would inhibit compaction of concrete. I've known detailers, designers who put so much steel, there's no room for the concrete to go around. And most important thing, bond with the reinforcement is not proper, so do not have congestion of reinforcement. Normally, experience is counted in number of years, 5 years, 10 years, which is misleading. A young engineer working in a firm and guided by an opinionated senior man would be doing only routine design. What was good yesterday is good today. If a new problem comes, he'll have a problem. He won't solve it. No lateral thinking. He may be using what was close to the worked examples he had crammed for passing examination. But many firms may not wish to provide any structured training for graduate engineers. That's a big problem. Quality of training, many administrations do not reward it. They use fresh engineers, costless, often left on their own. If anything goes wrong because of errors, I got a very curt and very short answer. Oh, don't worry, our insurance can look after it. I think this is a very bad practice. There are some firms very good, mixed staff structure, experienced, friendly staff, training young people. Everyone wants to get up the steps of the pyramid. On the top, there are high-profile engineers, understanding professional, environmental responsibilities, need for training, staff structure, etc. But there are not so good firms which are owned by financiers. They know only profit, engineers' responsibility, need for training, staff structure, etc. Not so good. See, this sort of structure has got only few steps. Very few people can go to the precipice. On the top of the precipice is sat our financier who says, oh, please do routine design, quick, quick, quick. Quick invoicing, quick invoice. I don't want to have my cash flow bothered. Cash flow is important. Training, checking, not so polite words, I won't say them. Sustainable construction, I can't afford it at present. But you probably think that he didn't want to do it anyway. What can happen if the good engineering practice is not there? Collapse, premature collapse. Ferrybeach Cooling Towers, West Yorkshire, United Kingdom. 1st November 1965, 3 of cooling towers collapsed due to vibrations in 85 miles per hour. But the wind speeds were only average wind speeds over 1 minute, and the shorter gusts were ignored. So they tell me what happened. 3 of the cooling towers beat the dust out of 8. Ronan Point, it was a state-of-the-art building when it was built. 16 May 1968, just before 6 o'clock, there was an explosion. Town gas leaked from the faulty cooker connection. 18th floor flat, 23-story building. But what happened? You can see that the corner has come down. Precast elements were not tied together, which allowed domino-style progressive collapse of wall and floor sections from top to bottom. The corner is gone. I know that the building was demolished after 4 years. Building regulation requirement came in, requiring the buildings to be designed to be robust. That is, the building had to be able to take a small knock. Many complex solutions, but there is a feature in it which requires tying of precast members. Piper's Row multi-story car park, Wolverhampton, United Kingdom. Piper's Row multi-story car park was built in 1965, but 120-ton section of the top floor collapsed during the night of 20 March 1997. design problem, construction issues. Flat slab design was based on CP114, an old code. It gave unduly optimistic prediction of punching shear strength. Punching shear, that is some issue with the flat slab. There are no beams. Load from the slab goes straight to the column. If the slab is not designed properly, concrete is not strong enough, the slab is not thick enough, or if there is no reinforcement in form of links, design against punching shear strength is not sufficient. Failure is there along the notional surface of the cone. Metaphorically speaking, we call it column punching through the slab. To add to the problem, some concrete had low cement content, poor mixing and compaction. Thus, localized areas of concrete were well below specified 20.5 Newton per millimeter square strength. Punching shear strength was reduced, and connection between slab and the column was weak. Column slab connection, designers realized that there are three members in the design. Number one, slab and column. Number two, the column. But a third is connection between the two. Column slab connection, very important. This poor common slab connection became weaker as the time went by, and corrosion, what can happen? It fell down. This is how it seems to have happened. I pointed with a red arrow, the culprit, the column that punched through the slab. If I may conclude, research and development in concrete construction has benefited concrete, higher strength of concrete, compact microstructure, realizing the dream of all concrete people. Durability is improved, sustainability is improved, but some research could be sponsored with strings attached, and the outputs must be examined carefully before using them for designing and construction safe and durable structures. Of course, with due attention to the principles of sustainable construction. Industry-sponsored research may have hidden uncertainties, and it may make unjustifiable claims. This point is well made in the book, The Constant Gardener by John Le Carre, a very famous writer, in the context of pharmaceutical product research, but it applies quite well to our cause here. Page 278, I think, says, uncertainties inherent in any research project often receive inadequate emphasis. One could go a bit further and say uncertainties are often hidden. So the engineers must pick them up and take the research output for what it's really worth. There is always a risk of authors persuaded towards a greater emphasis on positive findings than is really justified. They pay their money, so they expect some promotion of their product. I have known that the samples with the industrial products are made with great care. Plasticizers are used, aggregates are packed, and the PC specimens are not made with that care. Unfair comparison, I'll say, but those who pay their money expect something. I have gone to our scripture, the popular one, the Bhagavad Gita. Lord Sri Krishna defines what a Vakyam should be. Vakyam means message. I have adopted for our purposes a good research output should be meaningful, sartham, with substance, not shallow, tatyam, beneficial, how else, hitam, agreeable, priyam, appropriate, yuktam, conclusive, anuttaram, which means the conclusions must be clear, must be transparent, and the reader mustn't be left hanging in the air. In Hindi, there is a nice word for anuttaram, direct translation, lajawab. Sartham tatyam hitam vakyam priyam yuktam anuttaram. Yuktam, appropriate. Anuttaram, conclusive, lajawab. During my time, I met some people with questionable research reports. Really, they are gems. Recycled aggregate can be as good as natural aggregate. Oh, really? You will say, no problem. Oh, yes. A presentable young lady said microscopy analysis of aggregate recovered from demolition of riverside buildings in Italy showed that the RCA was very similar to the popular gravel aggregate extracted from the river. What you are worried, she said. Very similar. I am a cynic, so I asked her, come on, mix. Come on, is there any real surprise? Builders must have taken the aggregate from the river to build the riverside building. Where else will they go? They build the concrete building, you have pulled them down, you have broken the aggregate. Now you find the recycled RCA is similar to the river aggregate. Logical it is without such hard work, but however. Solution of reducing carbon dioxide in the environment. Make concrete porous so that it carbonates and absorbs carbon dioxide. How much we don't know, but the principle is there. One of the delegates said, make concrete porous. It will corrode my steel reinforcement and my structure will fail. Then we all went and read the small reports. They say, oh, the man said, oh, you should use stainless steel reinforcement. Oh, really? Stainless steel reinforcement costs a lot. But the man said with a straight face, oh, no worries. You must protect the environment. The question is at what cost? Too expensive? Recycled concrete aggregate can provide concrete with higher strength compared with natural aggregate concrete. Oh, really? No problem. Surprised all of us were. But we read a small print. The RCA concrete mix at 30% more PC. The specimens were made with all the goodies, packing and plasticizer, etc. Natural aggregate concrete, PC, 30% more PC. RCA used for environmental benefit, lost with use of extra cement, energy demanding, expensive, etc., etc. Not a good practice. The report has to be read carefully to find this. And finally, my friend, I want to leave you with a message. It has been very dear to my mind. An engineer should have an open mind. Of course, design and build safe and durable structures. Of course, pay attention to the environment. No doubt at all. But his mind should not be too open, not too careless. Mind should not be too open to let the brain fall through. That's my message coming from an engineer. Thank you very much for your attention. Thank you. Bye for now.
Thank you very much, Dr. Desai.
देशपांडे सर आवाज येत नाहीये.
Dr. Desai, thank you very much.
Oh, you're welcome.
Yes, any questions?
येतोय आवाज येतोय.
Satish Dupeli has said that the lecture was very good, but apart from that, are there any questions?
Oh, excellent presentation, Dr. Desai. Excellent presentation. true to the heart and to the truthfulness. Highly appreciate. Thank you.
Desai, are you classmate of Professor Desai?
You pardon?
Are you classmate of Professor Desai?
It's some problem with sound.
You were studying together?
No, we are not studying together.
Huh.
I share his name, Satish Bhai. Came show, Satish Bhai.
I am fine. How are you, Dr. Desai?
Yes, department.
A great presentation. Highly appreciate. Hello. Can you listen to me now?
Yes, we can.
Yeah. Great presentation, Dr. Desai. I mean, true to your heart and true to a real engineer who goes into all the deeper aspects of whatever things can go wrong and what are things that have gone wrong. And really in-depth study. I highly appreciate.
Thank you.
Professor Desai, I want to ask you a question.
Bola.
That in the design of his, there are always good brains, but then when it comes to supervision at the floor level, new engineers are put there who don't have experience, so they make the mistakes. How to correct that?
आता काय सांगू? Concrete can be made correct only at the beginning. Once you cast it in a different manner, not following good practice, not having good site supervision, not having the right ingredients, later on, whatever you do can only be superficial or what they call it, only on the face. So you can have graniting, you can repair. If the fire damage is there, people use fiber things, you see. But I am a great supporter of doing it right in the first place. So later on, there are remedial measures, but I don't think they are absolutely successful, but there are remedying concrete contractors who repair concrete structures. Okay.
I want to share one experience at Vashi Bridge in Mumbai, Navi Mumbai connection. The concrete at the bridge level, it got cracked, became porous, and then the steel got exposed, it got rusted, and then they had to do graniting, put some other chemicals and all that to cover it. So at the creek level, are there any more precautions to be taken into consideration?
Bridge construction is a very high-skilled business, you see. There are so many things that can go wrong. It's an expert area of construction. You do the slab properly, you use GG-based concrete in the UK and cold countries. I am sorry to say, but I have seen very insufficient supervision of work. In India, when I visited Hyderabad or many projects in Mumbai, supervision is very important. People are left to put concrete with too much water sometimes. Please don't get me wrong, but I've known contractors who put less bag of cement than required. I have no solution, and there are very good contractors, but there are some bad, and then you suffer by collapse, premature collapse of the structures. What can you do?
They rightly said, the experience is counted by number of years, what has passed after graduation, not the conscious experience in guiding the junior engineers to ensure good quality of concrete and good quality of construction. So number of years by project engineer could be 20, 30, 40 years. How much of it is conscious experience? That is important. And how much is willing to impart the knowledge to the people working under him. So supervision is a very, very complex subject matter. And the reason being, one goes to a higher level, he forgets his basic engineering. And then forget about training his assistant also. Thank you.
No, you are a good conscientious engineer, Satish Bhai, but there are others where supervision of staff training is not so good. Well, I don't know. I worked in Gamma India Limited. Very nice. We had very senior staff, quite a few with master's degree. They used to help us out. But, you know, contractors' firms are probably better at training people. But Satish Bhai, I know your firm, I've visited. I see young people, and that's very good. Please keep it up. There is a question from Mr. Paralkar. I know him, he's a scientist. Major and minor roads getting washed away in Mumbai rain. Now Mumbai, the rain, I've lived there, it rains very heavily. But if I may say so, concrete roads are much better. Somehow in Mumbai, I've seen concrete roads lasting more than asphalt roads. Asphalt suffers because of high temperature so the roads probably get weaker. But concrete roads, I've not seen them washed away. Maybe when the force of rain is so much, thing can happen. You should know better, Dr. Paralkar, that concrete has to be made properly, and somehow it seems to have been made properly in many roads. I walked along Bhavani Shankar Road quite often and the roads were good. So, concrete is a good material for road construction. There we are.
I slightly beg to differ, not totally. See, as concrete you make consciously with proper kind of mixing of cement water cement ratio, strength of concrete, ensuring thickness, ensuring curing. Asphalt is one thing. I'm sorry to say that, but what is there in Mumbai, and I see the difference in Navi Mumbai. The Navi Mumbai asphalt roads are like gliding roads, keep gliding your car. And that's where the problem comes. Say Mumbai-Pune Expressway, once you pass the concrete paved expressway, going to Dev Road asphalt paved, you certainly feel the difference. You are rolling on the concrete road. When you go to asphalt road, your car is just going smooth sailing like water. So it all depends on the quality consciousness, quantity awareness, and quality incorporation. If the asphalt is 50% or 70% is backed away for second sale, what can you improve asphalt roads? In concrete, don't do that, because there is strong supervision is there. So ultimately, all depends upon how much the binder content. We have good asphalt roads. I think Navi Mumbai also is equally rainy area than Mumbai. But then go on any roads in Sidco area, Kargar, go to New Mumbai, all those areas, the roads are absolutely gliding roads, though made in asphalt. And secondly, from the sustainability point of view, asphalt is a waste material for refining. While concrete, you are using cement for manufacturing. So if you compare the two aspects of the sustainability part is concerned, definitely asphalt road is using a waste material more appropriately. The problem is that enough asphalt is not used. How much mixing is done, how much is given there, how is compacted, how is made. It all makes a difference. While you take all the care in concrete and assuring quality assurance, quality control, asphalt is not there. Unfortunately, the government contractors or BMC contractors of asphalt road I don't know how much asphalt they use, how much asphalt they pocket away for reuse or resale and reuse again. The problem of the quality awareness, quality consciousness, and quality assurance. Thank you.
I think all engineering works, including asphalt road, has to be done properly once. Asphalt roads, they say, has one good quality, that the noise is less. But in Dundee, there was an innovation called whispering concrete. The concrete was provided, no, literally, I'm not joking. The concrete had very small pores, not reinforced concrete, so that a noise was absorbed. There are advantages and disadvantages on both sides. The point I'll strongly make is that construction requires good supervision, good quality control. I can't say anything more, Satish Bhai, but I have nothing against asphalt roads. Where I live, there are problems with winter roads freezing, and there are potholes as well. And there are contractors usually busy repairing the potholes. But when they repair, they just bung in something and the hole comes back next winter, but there we are. I think bad workmanship, fast contractors, super fast contractors, profit-making contractors, profit-making engineers. What else can I say? My beloved profession is sometimes it leaves too much to expect, but that is life, I think.
Professor Desai, can you comment on the workmanship some 60, 70 years back and now? Because in Pune, there is one road, 80 feet road, which goes from Lakadi Pool to Ferguson Road, main road, Bal Gandharva Theatre, etc. It lasted in a very good condition for 70, 80 years without any repair.
You are talking like me, an old man. You see, we remember everything was so good in the past. Yes, it was good. People were conscious about, I can't repeat enough, you have to have education, you have to have training, you have to got experience. And it was there during my time, I think. You'll forgive me for saying so, but sometimes people are just graduates. In my experience, after 2 years, they say, where is my 100,000 pounds per year? Straight away, we call it Jhatpat Hajam, without having good training, good experience. They want higher positions, higher pay, and then mistakes happen. Now, I am retired. I've seen a lot. I've tried to preach, but there we are. If there is no good experience, then engineers can't have the judgment. I think it was Brunel who said, without judgment, engineers are no good. You have to have a judgment to have a solution. You have to think in a lateral thinking manner, solve a problem as it comes. But there we are.
Okay, any last comment or a question? Oh, then I must give very big hand, Mr. Professor Desai. You have given a very good and delivered a nice lecture. It was not very difficult to understand for a lay person. And thank you once again for having delivered a lecture from London. Now I must announce the next lecture, which is on 3rd Friday of October month. That is on 16th of October. And it will be delivered on a subject, Technology, Progress and Future, by Dr. Gajanan Sabnis from America. You are all requested to join us for that lecture as well. Thank you, entire audience, as well, Professor Desai. Thank you.
Can I thank you and